Welcome back, rico.toro. Welcome back to Toro Tuesday. Thank you very much for those who've been rocking with me all along. And if you're new here for the first time, hit that thumbs up right now. And if you like that content based on real life experiences, personal observations, hit that subscribe right now. Thank you very much. So, hit that thumbs up anyways. Go ahead, hit it again. So, we're going to talk about the different levels that the ladies may choose or not always choose to play. Again, we've talked about the different levels and this thing we call a game. Well, it's a game to us, but it's not a game to them necessarily. So, and you know, we're gonna go a layer deeper. I'm gonna take you a layer deeper than what most guys will in these levels. So, you know, we got the lowest bottom feeder level. You know, it's the lady that's can't afford to be selective, or maybe she can be. Maybe she's doing all right. But, you know, she takes all comers, all types. You know, you can find her same places every day. Same bar, same streets, same place, all the time. She's not going to come on call and be on time because she's working that street game, that street life, you know. She's willy-nilly. Just whoever comes her way first pretty much is what she's going to do. And sometimes these are the ones that some guys think are like high level, but they're really not, because, you know, they may be in places where the so-called big ballers hang, but they're not exclusive by any means. They'll go with just about anybody. So that's the first level. And then you got your girls that they don't come out that much. You know, you got your weekend warrior type girls that they come from the capital and other areas on that big yellow bus, or the metro bus, you know, for a few days at a time, you know, trying to be all they can be. It's what I call they're in the army. You know, a lot of times, some of them are your like high peso, high value type to look at, but to me, they're not that high level. I don't consider them high level because a lot of times they're not that particular. They'll still go with just about anybody that's going to fatten their pockets on that weekend. You know, they're not that exclusive a lot of times either. You know, you may find you'll find some of them out and about, you know, for a couple days around the streets or in the casino. And then, you know, some of them work Tinder a lot, Badu a lot, work their phone a lot. They don't come out a lot. But make no mistake about it, they're in the army trying to be all they can be, get all they can get, take all they can make all they can take, and go back after a few days. So that's that type. And then there's the next type is the barrio type that do come into Sosua pretty frequently, whether they got a call or they don't have a call. You know, they go to the casino, they go to Roomba, they go to Bailey's, they go to Merengue, they stand out front of Central. You know, they're all over. You know, they're just not every day. You know, so So basically, those first couple levels, I'll pretty much just put them all in the category and say, those are basically just straight up pros. Just about anybody can have them at any time. So, and then the next type I'll say is the SemiPro. You know, some will say the SemiPro is the type that works as a bartender or works, you know, at the bank or the hotel lobby, you know, has a day job, has a regular gig, regular paycheck, and she just dips once in a while if she likes you for a little extra change, you know, on the side. But she's not gonna go with just anybody, you know. You know, and also I'll include in the semi-pro category those that live out in the barrios, and you're not gonna see them. You're not gonna see them wandering the streets or in the casino or in any of the bars I mentioned or around Sosua. You're not gonna see them just randomly walking around in spandex or whatever. You know, they're only coming to Sosua when they have an appointment, and they're not going to be with just anybody and everybody. You know, they're like, you know, I like to see 2-3 main regulars. I assume that my 2-3 regulars might have 2-3 other regulars of their own, and that's okay. Some of them, however, if me or you or somebody is seeing them a solid 2 to 3 times a week repeatedly, they may not want anything else. You know, they're just happy, especially if they live at home with their parents still. You know, that's the big difference. When they live at home with their parents, a lot of times they may have, especially the young, cute ones, they probably got a Dominican boyfriend. You know, they're not really looking to be with a whole lot of clients or gringos or tourists or whatever you want to call it. They're happy just coming out a couple times a week for some familiar, comfortable company and comfortable pesos and go home, you know? And however, if they got their own apartment with their daughter or son or two, usually that's a sign right there that they may be working a little busier than you would like. There's no exact way to tell. My thing is, that's why I say I create friendships with them, but I'm not trying to create any deeper relationships, because then you have deeper expectations and you get sucked into having higher levels of responsibility. So that semi-pro level is pretty much what I try to play in most of the time. And, you know, the curveball, probably have to say this again, at different points, different changes in their lives, at some point they often change levels, whether it be by necessity or by choice. So the other level is the so-called straight up non-pros, which, you know, they're strictly about their day job, you know, and they're not really looking for anything up front from you or I. You know, they do exist. They do exist. You know, usually the train is coming, the bill is coming. You know, usually, you know, school starts, you throw them something for school supplies to shut them up. You know, usually you throw them something here and there. But a lot of times those are also some of those same ones, though, they will push money back to you. I've had it happen. So, you know, some guy, just cause it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean it's not happening and can't be done. There's a lot of things that are being done that, you know, a lot of guys historically said, oh, you can't get away with that. you know, there's no real, you know, non-pros or whatever. Well, there really is. Most of us just don't find them that often, but they do exist. I have experienced one or two that refuse the cab fare even. And the difference is I didn't continue to see her much after that. Now, had I fallen in love and wanted to continue seeing her for like 6 months, yeah, of course I'm going to start later having to shell out money. But you got to know when to call it quits to avoid the train from hitting you. The train meaning obviously the bill. But a lot of guys can't do that. They get, you know, but with those non-pros, though, yeah, at some point the train does come and it does become a higher level of responsibility if you stay with them too long. Now, to what I was saying about them switching levels, changing levels. I mean, sometimes, you know, you have the non-pro that, you know, has a baby or something, and next thing you know, her job is bartendering at Emotions Resort, we'll say, in Puerto Plata. I think that's a resort. Let's say that's just not making ends meet anymore. She's got a baby, and she goes full out pro. You know, there was one I met like that early in my travels that worked at an establishment, and I fantasized about her. I wanted her so bad when she was telling me no. She wasn't about that life, cutting no side deals or nothing. Fast forward a few years after that, I see her working in the place formerly known as Passions. Some of you old heads been around a while, you know about Passions. So seeing her working up there with the whole Puda stripper makeup on and stuff, looking about 30 pounds heavier, and she was super flaca before, but looking a little heavier, like she had a baby, hadn't lost all the weight. And desperate times came for desperate measures, so she just like skipped straight from non-pro to full-on pro. And just to check it off the list, I did get with her because she was in my head for a while, but that was just a terrible way, and I wasn't real pleased to get it that way at that time from her. And then others, you know, they go back and forth. They go from semi-pro to, let's say they get a boyfriend for a while that, you know, they stay low key. They you know, cut off some of their contacts and that they were occasionally getting from on the side, and they just stay. Maybe they move in. They do the boyfriend thing, girlfriend thing, housewife thing for a while. And then push comes to shove, all hell breaks loose. They fall apart. And then guess what? She started from scratch. So this time she has to be a little more aggressive to get her own apartment quickly. So she went from semi-pro to good girl, wife, and now she's full-on pro. You know, and, you know, other cases, they go from full-on pro to they move to the countryside with family a little while, lay low, start over, maybe get a compo boyfriend. And then the next thing you know, I don't know, they end up with a drug habit or something. They end up with a bad drug habit, and next thing you know, the family kicks them out. I mean, this happens in the States even, and anywhere, Europe, wherever. So the family kicks them out because they got a substance problem, and they're just like absolutely no value to them. So then they end up, street chick with a drug problem, full on hoe again. So, like I said, through the course of their lives, a lot of times they can switch levels, you know, and we can't force them to change levels, you know, whether it be for the better of us or the better of them. We can't force them. You know, these are things that happen at their own natural demise or natural progression or transgression, however you want to look at it. So hit that sub if you haven't already done so. Hit that thumbs up. Got to get these Toro Tuesdays getting a little more traction, a little busy. So hit that share even. Share, tell a friend. Rico.toro. Yeah.